Hi, it's Sean with the Clarinet podcast, and I normally look all over the world for stuff to feature on the show and in our video content here, but I've realized that sometimes you look so far away that you miss what's right in front of you. And one of the coolest things in Calgary is actually the Calgary Stampede Showband, which features a very large ensemble of winds, brass, and percussion that not only tour the world, but also play 10 days of the Calgary Stampede, over 100 performances. And I think it's just something really cool to feature. And I'm going to be talking with Andrew Morrow, who is the director of the clarinets at the Stampede Band, and some members of the ensemble about what it's like to perform and play with the group over the 10 days of Stampede.
All right, so I'm Andrew. I primarily work with the clarinets, but to a further extent, all of the woodwinds, and to a lesser extent, the entire band. So I run all the clarinet sectionals and provide all of the materials for the clarinets for their warm-up manuals, as well as provide my musical input and expertise to all of the planning that we do as a staff. My favorite part about working with the show band has got to be the members of the show band. They are the most hardworking and dedicated group of kids you'll ever come across. I mean, the amount of hours they put in is insane. This week is kind of our big performance week, and most days their call time is 6:30. And their last performance ends at about 11:15. They're getting home at 12:30, 1 o'clock, and they're back here at 6:30 and they're ready to go. I mean, some days they're a little tired, but you know, they work really hard to make sure that that doesn't impact their performance. So the Yamaha duets are what we play on, and they have, the inside of the bore is lined with plastic and the outside of the clarinet is wood. So even if they do crack, it's always a service crack, and it's never like right through, so they never really need to be pinned. They can always be just kind of glued back shut. And other than that, just trying to keep your instrument out of the rain. The heat and the dust are pretty bad. We have our rehearsal field is over there. It's just a big grass, well, it started as a big grass field, and now it's, after a week of marching around on it, it's just a big dirt field. And yeah, so keeping your pads clean. I don't know, all of our members play on wooden reeds, which is a little mind-boggling to me. I would personally play on a plastic reed because, you know, it's 30 degrees out here most days, and you know, we have like 0% humidity, so your reed is dry the second it leaves your mouth. But they find a way to make it work. If I had to say, I think it's the audience. So there's 3 things we do every day and that we can't really miss. We play at the intermission for the rodeo. We play O Canada for the opening of the Chuck Wagons. And then we play as a part of the grandstand show, which is the Stampede's big variety act that happens at the end of every night. And the grandstand stadium holds between 25 and 30,000 people. So on a single day, each one of these students stands there and performs for about 90,000 people over 11 days. So to see over 1 million people that you perform for, I think that's got to be the most rewarding thing.
The best part about being in the Stampede clarinet section is the fact that we have a huge section, we're 16, but we're still super tight, like we're a section of 1. We're just so like put together all the time, and we're all really good friends, and it means a lot to everybody.
I think one of the most unique challenges is probably playing in tune, because it's hot out, so you're pulled out at every joint and you're still a good 30 cents sharp, and you're pulling it down with your face. It's a little tough. Or even just like having a functioning reed, because you blow them out because you're trying to play as loud as the brass, and then you're playing too loud, and yep, there goes your reed.
As a reed player, being at rehearsal for 12 hours a day for 7 days in a row, and then being on Stampede Park for 10 days, I found myself blowing through a reed a day, and it was ridiculous. Like, I can't afford that. And so I ended up getting a plastic reed for rehearsals, and it ended up saving me a bunch of money, and then I just use my reeds that I've broken in for performances, and it's fantastic.
But the most challenging part of being a Stampede band for me is got to be like the long hours. Like during the year, every month we have one band camp that has a full rehearsal day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. plus 5:30 to 9:30 the evening before that, and then 9 to 5 the day after. So there's long weekends. Then we get into Stampede week, where the first couple of days I was running on like 3 hours of sleep each night. You know, 6:30 call times. You get home at 1 o'clock after grandstand. It's just the most challenging thing for me was pushing through all that and still being able to perform, at the highest level, and still being able to put a lot of energy into what I do and still enjoy what I do.
An average day during Stampede Week is that we perform twice on the steps. We perform at the rodeo, the chuck wagons, and this year we're performing at the grandstand stage.
Being in the Stampede involved with the Stampede organization, it's really important to kind of keep your uniform looking its best and always be looking in tip-top shape. And so, we're always washing our uniforms very regularly, bleaching gloves, bleaching gauntlets. Biggest thing is boots. We wear bright red cowboy boots, and they look great, but they're probably a lot more maintenance than you probably think they are. So polishing them as regularly as you can is good. It takes a little bit of skill, but with time you find your rhythm.
Marching with cowboy boots on, it's a whole different world from marching with Vipers or regular shoes. They don't flex as much, so it's a very different walking experience, and your feet get a lot sore, a lot faster. It's different. It's something I'm learning how to enjoy as my boots break in more and they get comfier a little bit, but yeah, it's different, but you get used to it and you learn to love it.
During Stampede Week, we're with each other a lot and we can get really tired all the time. So to keep our energy level up, we pep each other up, we laugh a lot, we joke around. Everyone's a lot of fun here, and we just try to keep each other happy and keep each other on our toes. It's a lot of fun joking around with some of these people. Some of these people are really funny.
Starting in May, we start rehearsing outside because the weather gets good. However, there are sometimes we have difficult weather to deal with it, such as rain, cold, hot, over 30 degrees. There are a lot of ways to deal with those weathers. Especially for rain, we are using half wood, half plastic instrument. When it gets really heavy, we need to put our instrument back into our cases and then rehearse without that instrument. When we have hot days, we need to adjust our tuning constantly. We need to make sure to listen to each other, our pitch matches. There's a lot of tips to go through all the difficult weathers, but I think if we understand how the weather condition is and how you deal with the instrument, it will be a really good summer.
This year our protection is Mosaic, and it is the story of Canada and Canada's interactions with the First Nations people who came here before us. And we go through the movements starting with the concept of purity and of Canada before we came and we built the railroads. And the second movement deals with that, the conflict and kind of the angst of that entire thing. It's the angsty movement. There's a lot of screaming. Movement 3 is our reconciliation, and it's the first time we see one of our Indigenous performers interact with one of the band members. And Movement 4 is looking forwards into the future and talking about how we can be a unified Canada.
This year, the Stampede Showband is going to Kerkrade, the Netherlands, to participate in the WMC competition, which is the World Music Contest. And we are traveling all over Europe, sightseeing and performing. And I'm super excited because we get to do this all the time, where we perform for people all over the world and pretty much just share what we do every day. And it's just super exciting because pretty much we get to showcase what Calgary's about, what Canada's about in our show, to people who maybe might not know what Canada is about. So
Stampede Showband changed my life a lot. I moved from Japan in 2011. I joined the band the year after I moved here. Basically, the Stampede Showband for me is life in Canada. It changed a lot. I didn't have any interest in anything when I moved here, but now I have this band. I have things to do in this band, have fun, enjoy, feel like I'm living, and that is the most great experience I had in this Stampede Showband, and that changed my life.
to anyone who's thinking about joining Stampede Band, I would definitely recommend it. I auditioned for 3 years, once when I was in Roundup just to see what it was like, and it honestly I think made me a better clarinet player overall. Just make sure you know your stuff, come prepared, and come with a good attitude, because that's probably the biggest part of being in this band.
What I love most about being in the show band is the people. You know, you have these people that come from a whole bunch of different backgrounds. Some people do sports, some people are really into school, some people, all they really do is band. But you all come together for this one sole purpose, to create something so magnificent, so amazing, this show and these step performances, and you're with these people 24/7, so you kind of have to like them. And that's my favorite part about being in show band. That's what I love most about this band.
So from being in Stampede, I've only been here for about a year, and I would honestly have to say some of the field shows, because you never get that experience with any other organization. It's just such a unique thing to do. It's 10 minutes of just action. You spend the entire year for these 10 minutes, and you put your heart and soul into them, and it's one of the best things that you can do in the band.
My most memorable moment with the show band has got to be band camp. It's where everyone kind of doesn't really know each other yet, but can come together as one and kind of connect a little bit more. People you don't know, you can finally start to talk to. You go up to random people and you sit with them, and there's a whole bunch of activities we do. It is a blast, and it is the reason why I would join show band again and again and again.